G'day there guys, no regrets, not even one letter here. It's your main man Markee and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. Now if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for today's bloody good stories. Thank you. Posted by user UnluckyStop6213. Titled, Am I the A-hole for grounding my daughter for being inappropriate to her stepbrother? To start off, my ex-wife and I split up when my daughter was about 4 years old. It was an amicable decision, and her and I are still friends. We have dinner together with our daughter at least once every couple of months since the divorce. My daughter loves these times, and we get to talk about boring co-parenting stuff when we finish dinner and our daughter is out of earshot. I met my current wife when my daughter was 10, and she had a 13-year-old son. They got along, but she seemed to always want to hang out with him more than he wanted to be with her. I didn't think anything of it, just figured she thought he was cool and looked up to him. She used to beg for the two of them to have sleepovers in the living room and things. My stepson has never complained to me about this. My daughter is now 12 and my stepson is 15, and we live a pretty boring life together. But last week, I heard my daughter scream crying from her brother's room. I went to investigate, and he was standing there, fists clenched and red in the face. My daughter was lying on the ground, sobbing and hyperventilating. Immediately, I separate the two, and I start by talking to my daughter. She told me that her stepbrother said he hated her and doesn't ever want her to talk to him again, and then pushed her to where I found her. I went to my stepson after talking to my daughter, and I confronted him. He admitted the words, but not the shoving, and he told me something that really freaked me out. He had just taken a shower and had come out from the bathroom to his room, but apparently he didn't hear the door latch closed. When he had finished getting dressed and turned to leave, he saw that the door was cracked and my daughter was on the other side. That's when he flipped out on her and told her to leave him alone and not to ever talk to him. I honestly didn't know what to think. I went back to my daughter, and after a bit of prodding, she confessed and said she was curious and seemed really embarrassed. I got really upset and told her what an invasion of privacy that was, and how would she like it if she found someone looking at her change the way he found her. I told her I was going to take away her laptop and her phone, and she freaked out. She called my ex before I knew it, and when she handed me the phone, my ex was on the speaker scolding me for something so trivial. That every preteen and teenager gets curious sometimes. I told her it didn't matter. Her curiosity shouldn't impede my stepson's safety in my house, and vice versa if it happened the other way around. My daughter started screaming that she wanted to live with her mum, and the next day my ex came to pick her up. My daughter is refusing to answer my calls or come for visitation, which used to be a 50-50 split. My ex-wife says she's appalled by my clear favoritism towards my stepson, and I just want my daughter back. Am I the a-hole? And should I apologize? Think I'm gonna go with a not the a-hole for this one. This kinda sounds like one of those iffy situations. If the genders were reversed, what then? Got you, this is 4D chess and checkers. Your ex is clearly freaking out because they'd never expected to be in a situation like this, and instead of fixing the situation from it, where it's easily fixable because of the ages, she's kind of going on damage control mode and protecting the daughter at all costs, which I can see, that's a reasonable reaction that someone could have. The kid is still growing up, they're going through changes and everything right now as they are. I'm sure they don't fully comprehend their actions or something along those lines. I'm more than sure the daughter will learn from her mistakes in this situation, probably for the best that they go and cool off and the ex looks after them for a bit. This is something you never really want to happen, but these things do happen. And, clear favoritism towards the stepson? No. Don't think there is a clear favoritism. I think they're trying to protect both kids in this situation. I can understand wanting your daughter back when your calls are being refused. Understand that this is something that probably just needs time. I would say not the a-hole for this one, and I hope this all settles down for you. Final Commission 4160 says, not the a-hole. Your daughter was being inappropriate. You should point out to your ex that she would be pissed if your stepson did it to your daughter. If it's inappropriate for one, it's inappropriate for the other. And OP says, when I said that during our initial conversation, she said something like, "That's different, he's older, and therefore has more power over her." That's not word for word, but it made me upset to hear. Tell your ex and daughter sexual harassment, regardless of age and gender, is still sexual harassment. I wish I could upvote this more than once. Age and gender can't be a shield for crappy behavior. OP, you are not the a-hole. Your daughter may have innocently been curious and handled it poorly, but if that's the case, she needs to learn, and you are making it clear that what she did isn't right. Also, you are being a great step-parent. 40 Miles Away says, not the a-hole, this is not okay. Your daughter needs to know what a clear violation of privacy this was, and how not okay this is. He needs to feel safe in his home, just like she needs to feel safe in her home. The fact she's throwing a temper tantrum about this instead of apologizing profusely and promising it will never happen again, quite frankly, is worrisome. I'd explain to your ex that if the roles were reversed, she'd be pissed right now if your stepson did this to your daughter, and the bullcrap about favorites is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard. And if she doesn't understand that, then maybe you should get a mediator and explain it to them. Tell your daughter that it's her right not to see you, but when you do, you expect an apology to both your stepson and yourself. I'd also let your ex know that you're expecting an apology from her as well. Your ex acting like this is some petty stuff that needs to stop like yesterday. And Nut Michelle says, not the a-hole. All hell would have broken loose if you'd allowed your stepson to go peek at your daughter while she changed clothes and not punished him for it. Your ex is an a-hole, and you need to go to court and have the custody agreement upheld if she continues with her nonsense. And now on to the update. A lot has happened since my last post. I've been DM'd asking for an update. It's been a long time since my last post, and a lot of advice and support was given was so heartwarming. Now on to the update. My ex-wife for a long time was on my daughter's side. Eventually, her and I had a long discussion, and it was clear after that my daughter had twisted the story to seem more accidental. We both agreed that staying with my ex was the best for her until she agrees to seek therapy. 2 weeks ago, she finally relented and started her first session on Thursday. My wife and stepson all discussed the idea of her coming back for visitation once she's had the help she needs. We even installed a padlock on my stepson's door, his request, to make him feel more safe. We plan on going back to our monthly dinners with my ex and daughter slowly, but hoping that therapy will help her. My stepson refused therapy and said he just doesn't trust her like he used to. I want to thank everyone for their advice and kind words, and I'd like to thank the mod team for dealing with my BS regarding this whole post. In a few weeks, if my daughter is comfortable, I may join to get a better perspective on what she's thinking. I'm truly hopeful that things will get better over time, but this has been a huge improvement. Considering she absolutely refused every time it was brought up and tried to say her stepbrother was the problem. Edit. A lot of people have asked why my ex and I believe therapy was necessary over what happened. So I will just copy and paste a comment I made to one of the users asking aforementioned question. The therapy is to get to the root of the issue of why she not only lied, tried to claim her stepbrother pushed her, and refused to admit she did anything wrong despite multiple conversations. She kept sticking to the lie that her brother pushed her for no reason. I want her to have a therapist to help understand her thought process because it's pretty scary if I'm being honest. Not only that, but the fact my stepson says he doesn't trust her leads me to believe there may be more to the story that therapy could help illuminate. Not to punish her for having curiosity, but her curiosity should never impede on another person's privacy. That one chick you know says, I'm glad your ex-wife understands the situation now and that your daughter has agreed to seek therapy. Kudos to you for standing up for your stepson's right to feel comfortable in his own home. I hope the therapy helps your daughter and she's able to work through her issues, though she may have ruined her relationship with your stepson. Only time will tell. The Pink Prioress says, "Good on you for respecting your stepson's feelings, but remember, their relationship may never get back to what it used to be. Don't try to force it, she has torpedoed it." I suspect it may never have been what the OP thought it used to be. From how the stepbrother reacted, I got the impression the stepsister has been creeping on him for a while, even if the peeping is a recent escalation. I'm very glad she's the younger one, or she could have done a lot more harm to him. I was thinking this the entire time when I read the first post. I'm guessing this was the reason the stepson wasn't as keen to hang out with her as she was. Seems like the daughter had a big crush since the beginning and harassed him often. Just this time, took it too far. It's good she's getting therapy, but I still wouldn't let her or your stepson ever be alone. And OP replies, "I don't plan to until after a long period of therapy and understanding the underlying issues. She's starting to show improvements, but that doesn't mean she won't relapse around him, so we're not going to even think about revisitation for a long time." Frankly, I feel like there's something I'm not understanding here. Was there something more going on behind the incident than she just likes being around him? What are the underlying issues? The whole thing seems to be an extreme reaction to adolescent curiosity. So I get the sense that there is more backstory that would warrant therapy over a proper conversation about personal privacy and boundaries over a one-time incident. And edit, I guess I missed the part where she still denies that what she did was wrong. Yup, therapy time. Posted by user AzelChemE, titled, "Am I the a-hole for wanting to go to a better college? I, 16 female, am living in Egypt, but I go to a British school. I've already finished my 5 OLs, and I'm planning to take 3 more. I'm currently in the process of taking my 3 ALs, which will be mathematics, chemistry, and physics. I'm only saying this for context. While my brother is smart, he doesn't pay as much mind to studying as I do, and thus gets lower grades. Therefore, my parents shipped him off to the UK for a foundation year in chemical engineering in a middle-ranked university. I'm also interested in chemical engineering and would love to major in it when it's my time to go. I understand that going to the UK for further education is a privilege within itself, but you have to understand my point. It's frustrating that with my academic level, I'll probably get accepted into better unis, yet they want me to go to the same, way lower-ranked university as my brother. I've been looking at numerous unis all over the UK to find one that'll satisfy both my parents and I believe I found the perfect candidate. Low crime rates, not a huge difference in fees, cheap accommodation and living expenses, not too far from my brother, about an hour and a half away, and it's a great uni with highly spoken reviews, and it ranks at the top in all league tables and everything. I introduced my parents to it early on. Sometimes they'll tell me, "We will if we have the cash." Sometimes they tell me, "If you get the grades." And other times they flat out tell me no. Their mind is always changing, but all in all, they were still slightly open to the idea. We had one argument where I was called needy and ungrateful, asking for too much, not accepting the fact that they can't pay, stuff like that. After this, apparently there's no way in hell that I can ever go because they can barely afford to make me go to the same uni as my brother, even though they were thinking of transferring me and my brother to a really expensive uni. See how their mind is always changing? They said whatever my brother does, I'll do. If he applies and doesn't get accepted, I'm not going either. If he wants to stay where he is, I don't have another choice. I've been at this for so long and I'm getting so frustrated. I just want to go to the university I deserve to go to and have worked hard to get into, or will hopefully get into. If they seriously cannot pay at all, and that's the only thing stopping them, that's okay. It's not their fault, but I don't know what to believe anymore. One minute they have the money and they don't mind me going, another it's a different story. Whenever I try to bring it up, they don't even let me speak. Am I the bad guy here? Am I asking for too much? No, morally, you've done nothing in this situation to be treated this way. This is them just continuously changing their mind on things with the wind. I don't particularly think that any of this is your fault. At the end of the day, it seems like it is them controlling the finances and whether you can or can't go to university. It kinda seems like you're stuck at a crossroads here, and you might have to look into other options for getting yourself into university and saving up your own money and not having to rely on them. But as it stands currently, I'm gonna continue with my not the a-hole position. You being smart is not a reason for you to be an a-hole in this situation. That doesn't make you a better or worse person than your brother, and that doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong against your brother or your family. They're just being dicks, not the a-hole. In the comments, Burning Infinite says, "Not the a-hole. They are moving the goalposts on you, which isn't fair. Have you considered looking into scholarships or loans so you can pay your own way?" And OP replies, "Hi, thanks for commenting. I know I can make the first year fees less than my brother's university even, but I'm not sure about the rest of the years, and I can't find any other scholarships, and loans are out of the question to them. I'll try to decrease my accommodation price and living expenses to balance it out." Well, if you are okay with taking out loans, then at a certain point you become responsible for yourself, and they don't get a say in whether or not you take out a loan. It all depends on how far you're willing to go to secure the education that you want. I'm not sure how it works in Egypt or the UK, but in the US you can start taking out loans and credit cards on your own starting at 18. Please note, I'm not suggesting that you put yourself into credit card debt to pay for school, just sharing information. You could also consider taking a gap year to work and save some money. Not sure if that's feasible or something you would be interested in doing, but good luck to you, OP. And they say, "Thank you, I'll look into them." Throwaway Screw says, "No a-holes here. It is understandable to go to a uni you prefer to go to. There is nothing wrong with asking them and trying to convince them. Seems like their decision depends on your brother. They may think that they can't send you to a better uni than him because it's unfair. Also, in many Arabic cultures, the male part has a higher status than the woman. That may be another reason they're deciding based on your brother. Maybe contact him first and tell him about your plans, and that your parents will make the decision based on him, and you to try to convince him to at least tell them that it's okay for him that you will go to a better and different uni than him." And OP replies, "They already asked him and he said he doesn't mind, and wants me to go. Their problem is they want me to live with my brother, because apparently I can't be trusted to live alone, and it's very frustrating. That's why I picked a place with a lower crime rate, and apparently, the older I get, the shorter my curfew? Oh, now I get it. You're an Arabic girl. Your parents think you will do haram things or get taken advantage of, etc., with nobody protecting you. Sorry, don't know how to express better. They don't like the thought of their girl on another continent, all alone. Your brother would be 1.5 hours away, but that doesn't matter to them. That's exactly what it is. I'm trying to convince them that it's really a small town with a low crime rate, and it's not like I'll always be on the streets. I'm the type to want to stay home, and I don't get why they won't listen to me." And now on to the update. So I didn't make a PowerPoint. I just sat them down and had a proper talk with them. Thankfully, they actually listened to me this time, and instead of shutting me down and not listening to me, my dad listened closely and even started calculating while I was talking. The best part is, he told me he'll think about it. I have a feeling it'll end up happening, but one can only hold out hope. The fact that it's 2 years early means he can start saving up from now on. Pray for me. And in the comments, FT Natsu Dragneel says, "That's good. I would highly suggest looking for scholarships to help pay for it so your parents don't have to spend as much. While it's not fair for them to restrict what college you go to, it isn't really fair to expect them to pay more for your college fees than your brother's college fees. Not to mention, they're already helping pay for your brother, so adding on your college would mean even more loans and payments. So again, look for scholarships, and the more you get, the more open they should be towards your idea. I understand. I won't go unless I get the scholarships I plan on getting. I'll also get my own job there to minimize or erase any living fees my dad has to pay. G'day there guys, and that's the end of today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed it and were entertained by today's bloody good content. As always, I want to do a quick shout out and a thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your beautiful faces and names will be up on screen right now. Haven't forgot about you guys, sorry I was taking a little break there. So yeah, if you see yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. If you want to be on this screen, there's links down to the description below where you can sign up and help support the channel and all future projects that I'm going to be doing on this one. With all that said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to. I'll see you in the next episode, and I do hope you enjoy it. Thank you.